Nick Sirianni is 4-0 coming out of the break. The Philadelphia Eagles were able to defeat the Cleveland Browns this weekend 20-16. But the question is, will Nick Sirianni be around to go 5-0? The Philadelphia Phillies, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Flyers are 1-1. They're in Edmonton tonight. Kyle Larson winning in Charlotte. A little bit of pop culture and a fun top 10. We'll be back before you know it.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, eSports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, iSports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at iSports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iSportsRadio.com. At iSportsRadio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Now that you know where you can find us, where you can listen to us, where you can contact us, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all the sports. This is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. Bobby,
Yes.
a little late, but better late than never.
Right.
Yeah, and it was 20-16 coming off the bye week. They were playing the Browns. They weren't playing the Lions or the Vikings. I guess a win's a win.
Yeah. I mean, Sirianni acts like he won the Super Bowl, but that's Nick Sirianni. I mean, I you know how we go into a game and we're like, win, loss, win, loss. I think he thinks every game's a loss going in, and he's shocked when he wins. It's almost like he's surprised to win a game. Like, oh, we won a game in the National Football League. It's so hard to do. And who gets in their own? Do you imagine Andy Reid going up on the bench and getting in the fans' faces of Kansas City? I mean, he just like keeps digging himself a deeper hole. I mean, almost like he wants to get fired at this point.
Well, Coach Reid probably had all the excuses to do it here and didn't.
Yeah.
So, no. Look, we could probably talk the whole show on what's going on with the Eagles and what's going on with Nick Sirianni and how it's affecting the team, affecting the culture, affecting the fan base.
Well, the team seems to like him. The players seem to love him. They're saying they want that Nick back, the Nick that we had in 2021.
Hey, if they produce like they did, I'm fine with it. I mean, if he wants to yell at fans, if he wants to have strange histrionics, if he wants to put his kids up on the podium during a post-game press conference and do all those things, I'm fine with it as long as when I look at the score, the Eagles have won.
Well, I think that was strategic too, putting the kids up there. That was like to take the tension off him. He probably told them to talk, make a mockery out of it.
Yeah, but the thing is, the guy never says anything anyway. No,
he just tells stories about his brother and his grandfather and how they played football growing up. Now this is a life lesson, and we need to learn from today's game. He's a motivational speaker.
How was the offensive line coach with Lane Johnson coming back? When I was 12, that's how he'll go down that line. Kind of sounds like somebody.
Kind of reminds me of a presidential candidate.
You took the words right out of my mouth. And I don't know. I think everyone was looking for this team to turn back into something that they had been at the beginning of last year and the season before. They're not that team anymore. They're just not. The bye week, the Browns, it's the Giants this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing the Giants this week. Not a team that scores a lot, but
another good defense.
They
limited Cincinnati last night. So I mean they got it, or Sunday night. They have a good defense.
I can't look at any game like I said last week. I can't look at any game and say, yeah, that's going to be a definite win for the Philadelphia Eagles.
No. Do you think they're going to want to shut Saquon down? Because he left them. And at the same time, Saquon's going to want to prove a point to them. So I think the Eagles are probably going to go to the well with him. Probably one too many times, but
you would think they would. Hopefully, they don't get themselves into a situation where they're behind. But this also not scoring in the first quarter. Wow, I didn't realize it was that bad.
I know
it's bad.
I felt like they had scored in the Green Bay game, but I guess they didn't.
Yeah, they got all those points from the second
quarter.
Yeah, I know.
On. I mean, they're putting up points, but they're all in the second quarter on.
You know what's so funny? You mentioned Green Bay. I thought about this, and if they play Green Bay this upcoming week, they're not beating Green Bay.
No, that was a matter of get them in the first week. That was one of those things where the Green Bay will say, yeah, you caught us in our we weren't ready. That was kind of a good timing for the Eagles for once.
Yeah, I don't care if they play in Brazil. I don't care if they play in Antarctica. I think when you looked at the games this weekend, especially on the NFC side, it looks like there's a couple teams, Green Bay being one of them. I don't know if I'm so sold on Minnesota or Washington. Right. Detroit looked good, but then again, Dallas has been decimated with injuries. Right. And Dallas isn't that good to begin with.
Well, plus Detroit took a major hit. They lost their best player on defense.
Yeah, they did.
Losing Aiden Hutchinson, you can't recover from that. That's pressure on probably 2 out of 3 plays on the quarterback just from his side.
Yeah, you're right.
that's huge losing him. So they won't be the same team on defense going forward.
Yeah, and sadly, I don't see an Eagles team. I guess being in the NFC East, they could be in the mix to win it, and maybe. But if they do,
you'll be in the mix just by what? What's the word? By attrition. by default,
by happenstance.
Yeah,
by happenstance, they're there. If they win it, they're probably one and done in the playoffs. Especially if they got to go to Tampa. If they got to go to Tampa,
I know that's their Achilles heel. That's the team. That's probably the best team in the conference as far as the Eagles go.
Yeah, Tampa's playing some pretty good ball as well.
All I ever hear, I say this every week, is how bad Baker Mayfield is. But all he does is throw for 300 yards. I don't understand it. I'll take him.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that was I had, and we can do this in a little bit for one segment. I had looked at all 4 of the major sports teams, and it's depressing. And I tried to come up with 2 positive things going on with each team, and one of them with the Eagles was, well, Hurts didn't turn the ball over this weekend.
Okay,
but 20 points at home against the Browns. I mean.
Not a bad defense. I wasn't surprised. I mean, I think that's about what you're going to get against that team. I mean, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, they got players on the defensive side. I mean, it's not a bad team, especially against the run. They really stopped the run. And now the Eagles they won't throw against anyone. They won't throw for 300 yards probably against any secondary. I mean, if you stop the run against the Eagles, you're going to pretty much limit the Eagles.
Yeah, surprisingly, that Cleveland team who we talked about, I think we talked about it on Larry's show that we thought they'd be much better than they are, but their offense.
They just have no offense, right? I was going to say that as much as I compliment their defense, their offense is completely just stalled, and they need to make changes.
And as I look up here at the screen, I see that the other Cleveland team playing has no offense either.
It's tough, that they're going into a Yankee Stadium and it's cold. It's probably 45 degrees up there. I mean, that's tough. It's kind of that kind of environment. Could you picture the Phillies going in there? They'd be shut down too, probably.
Well, from what we've seen out of them, yeah, they'd be shut down, Bobby, if me and you were out there pitching.
I know. Oh, by the way, the Cleveland Browns traded their best player today, Amari Cooper.
Yes, they did. I mean, they've essentially packed it in, but
yeah. And they gave Buffalo. Buffalo picked up a good receiver. That's exactly what they needed. That's a good trade for the Bills.
You bring up the Bills, and not a lot of times am I sitting there paying close attention to a Monday Night Football game if the Eagles aren't playing. And I wasn't paying. It was on, but I wasn't paying close attention to it last night. I was actually reading a book, which William Kent Kruger is an outstanding author. So I was reading one of his books while the game was on. But every play there's a flag.
I know.
I mean, it's
ridiculous.
A lot of people were making comments about it, and and I got to give Aaron Rodgers some credit. He said, "Look, they called a roughing the passer on me. I wasn't roughed. It was a tackle."
And look who they went out and got. They went out and got his old buddy Davante Adams today.
Yes, they did.
So now they have 2 former Packer receivers that go with Garrett Wilson. So they have some weapons. It's just they just can't seem to win. I mean, they're 2-4. They'd have to go probably 8-3 the rest of the way to make the playoffs. Have a chance at the playoffs. That's going to be tough. Because
Buffalo will probably run away with the division, but there's no competition now from
Miami or New England, right?
No. There's not. And that's the same thing when you look back at the Browns. I mean, that division there, Steelers and the Ravens especially. I mean, that's essentially over for them. Yeah, if you look at the AFC side, I mean, you're looking Buffalo, Baltimore, the Texans, and the Chiefs.
Buffalo, Baltimore, Houston, that's about right. Yeah, 4 teams. I think Cincinnati will probably sneak in the playoffs.
I can see that.
And they're pretty much probably the toughest opponent. They're the Tampa Bay of the Kansas City Chiefs.
True.
They really are. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
it's true.
they have their number. They match up very well against them.
Yeah, maybe another surprise team. I don't know if the Chargers will be any good, or I can't.
Hey, Justin Herbert's playing really good.
Yeah, and then with Harbaugh there, I mean,
Yeah.
but we've how many times have you heard this? I mean, the Chargers are the Eagles of the West Coast, and
They are.
They
And
are.
look, it's the same thing. We got Saquon Barkley. He's playing great. They got J.K. Dobbins. He's playing great. I mean, it's like it's the same team. They do the same thing. You know, they have Quentin Johnston. You know, they got rid of Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, he got old in a hurry. They got rid of him. Probably a good move, but they really didn't they didn't fill up his place with anybody. They moved Quentin Johnston up, and I think they have Darius Davis. They don't really have a great receiving core, so they probably need to make a trade as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if the Eagles are going to make any trades or not. I mean,
I would have liked to see him. I don't know if I wanted Devontae Adams. He's up there.
Hassan Reddick's available. Hassan Reddick is available.
Yeah, I saw that. I think the 49ers have interest. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in Detroit.
Yeah, definitely. Take Aiden Hutchinson's spot, right?
Yeah, given what's going on. Somebody had an interesting question on Twitter X if the over/under for trades that the Eagles will make is 1.5. I took the under.
Yeah, they'll make one.
Yeah, maybe.
They'll make one and they'll sign somebody that gets released.
Yeah, they're they're famous for that.
Mm-hmm. They're healthy though. They're relatively healthy, which is surprising.
AJ Brown coming back was good for him on Sunday. That was my other positive right now on for the Eagles.
He's a really good player. I mean, he's really, really good. I don't think he gets the credit nationwide that he should get. I mean, he's so big and physical. You just throw the ball anywhere in that radius and he catches it.
Yeah, when he was with the Titans, he kind of went under the radar, but
right. Well, they didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah,
he still doesn't. He still doesn't have a quarterback.
Well, hopefully they're going to get him one.
Where?
Well,
Tanner McKee.
I saw that they moved one of the Eagles games. I think it was the Cincinnati game. They moved to 1 o'clock now.
Why is that?
I don't know.
That'd be a good primetime game. That's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know what time. I don't know what time it originally was. Maybe it was a 4 o'clock game, but I think they moved that back to 1 o'clock. It's just weird now where you can just do that. And I mean, just like I said, I mean, we saw that the Penn State game had been moved to 7:30 when they go to Wisconsin. And then when you have these playoff games in baseball starting mid-afternoon, and it's just, I think the Mets and Dodgers tomorrow, they start 10 a.m. Either 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. No, I'm just joking. We haven't talked much college football. Penn State.
I haven't watched much college football.
Penn State has got to be the weakest number 3 of
ever. Yeah. I mean, they're just so average and so beatable. It's ridiculous. I mean, who do they have? Drew Aller and Nick Singleton. They're not loaded. They got lucky to beat USC. They've played nobody. Who have they played? Eastern Michigan. I mean, that's a joke at this point.
They play Bowling Green, right?
Right. I mean, it's ridiculous how weak their schedule's been. They played UCLA, USC, garbage, total garbage. They're going to lose their 2-3 games. They're going to be in a Holiday Bowl or something like that.
Yeah,
that's about it. That's what they are. They can't win a big game. They never upset anybody.
Mm-mm.
It's sad, it really is.
And I don't know if it's so much an indictment on college football where they're ranked 3rd, but being undefeated, I guess, being Penn State, but you look at Oregon and you look at Texas. I mean, there's guys walking around those two schools that couldn't make the team. If you put them together, they could probably beat Penn State.
It's true. It's true. They would get run off the field by any of those teams.
We had the depressing end to the Phillies season, and we had an even more depressing after season press conference today. And I know you were busy at work. I did not tune in.
I actually listened to it after we got off the phone.
Oh, okay.
I heard the snippets of it, so I know I'm a little more ready than I was when I talked to you. Basically, they want the hitters to change their approach. They want them to use the whole field. What an original statement. Dombrowski said it, and then the genius manager basically repeated what he said.
Why is he back? I can't believe. I mean, somebody
he's not just back. He's here for 2026.
Yeah, and somebody made an interesting point, and I didn't think about this. They're bringing him back, and so that then puts the blame on the players. But isn't it his job to get the most out of the players?
Yeah, it's his job to play the right players. Like I said, when we came on, before we came on, I was watching the Cleveland game, and Rocchio, the 9-hole hitter, came up, and the announcer said, "This is the guy that they want up in this spot." Imagine saying that for the Phillies, the 9-hole hitter Rojas. That's when I want to change the channel when he comes up.
Or Austin Hayes.
Right, Austin Hayes, Brandon Marsh. Brandon Marsh really disappointed me.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about that before. That was more a product of Rob Thompson.
Yes, not playing.
Yeah, him and Stott. But so you analyzed this. You analyzed the situation, and you said you listened to the press conference. I had just saw some little snippets that were on social media and read what some people had said. I think if I was asking Dombrowski a question, I think the question would be, you made the World Series. Last year, you lost games 6 and 7 at home to the inferior Diamondbacks. You got embarrassed, essentially, by the Mets, who just happened to get into the playoffs the last day of the season. You're trending backwards, but you're doubling down. Why should the fans come out to see this?
Well, he covered the Mets part. Rob Thompson made the excuse that the Mets were the hottest team in baseball, and we just got unlucky that we had to go against them. They came off beating winning the doubleheader, and then beating the Milwaukee Brewers and coming in here confident. And we just ran into a hot team. He says we don't think anyone would have beaten them in the shape that they came in. They were highly confident, and a bunch that wasn't going to be beat. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's wonderful. Well, thanks, Rob.
I don't care
Cheers.
how hot. I don't care how
Cheers,
hot.
Rob.
I don't care how hot a team is. If you're good enough, you should be able to beat them, especially when the first 2 games are supposedly in a building where you have the advantage, which doesn't exist anymore.
No.
They lost the Zach Wheeler game.
Nobody mentions the fact that he didn't go with his 2 best pitchers either. He really did go with Nola. With Sanchez. That went under the radar. The fact that he did that.
Yeah, they were fortunate enough, I guess, to win that game. But then they went up to New York, and even I think when we were on here talking in some posts that I made, it was like there's not going to be another game at Citizens Bank Park. You're not going to see Zach Wheeler pitch for a while, and that's unfortunately what happened. The other thing was in the game that they got eliminated. I guess a question this probably was brought up before, but a question I would have had, even looking at Dave Dombrowski, was, okay, well, the manager went with the guy you traded for as a closer in the 6th inning, and he gave up the grand slam. So what? So again, you're here, the manager is here. We saw what happened. And you're just sitting up there like, we're just going to run this back, and you expect people. I guess it's one of those things to where, yes, people will come out because they have Harper, Wheeler, and the rest. I mean, they have those guys, Castellanos, Schwarber. People are going to come out and support the team.
Yeah, and you just got 2 points. I just remember he did bring up Realmuto. and how he needs more rest next season. And he's going to sit down with JT, and I'm going to talk to him. And I'm going to tell him that more rest will improve your numbers. It's going to improve you. But that tells you right there that Garrett Stubbs isn't coming back, because we're going to have to get a better backup catcher. Marshawn should be the catcher going.
Yeah, it's going to have to be him. Yeah. Well, if you want to give JT more rest, trade him. that would give me more rest. How about you?
I mean, I just never seen a guy that when he's up with runners on base, there's no confidence. I wasn't the only one putting it out there. When he comes up with men on first and second, everybody says it. Double play, incoming, double play. Like, it's. I've never seen a guy just make weak contact time after time after time. He can only hit a fastball. He can't hit a breaking ball.
And we were on him from almost day one, or at least after the first year. And
yeah.
It took some other people a while to get on, and it was kind of that idea of him. Well, he's the best catcher in baseball. And yeah, he was able to throw runners out, and he would have that 2-week stretch where, yeah, he was the best catcher in baseball. It would look like, but 2 weeks is not 162 games.
No.
And just like you said, if he, especially in these playoffs and things, how he hit the game-winning home run in Game 1 of the World Series, I don't know what happened. He must have just swung with his eyes.
That's what he does.
I mean,
ball has to be right in the zone, in the middle in order for him to hit it.
For a guy who's considered or was considered the best catcher in baseball, if I sit here, I can probably count on my fingers in all the time that he was here in Philadelphia, JT Realmuto clutch highlights.
There's not many.
No, there's not. And I guess the frustrating part was, as soon as they lost that to the Mets, everyone on social media, commentators, pundits, or whatever, were saying, okay, now, okay, let's just sit back and realize this is going to force them into making major changes. And then people started talking about, well, they should do this. Maybe they'll do this. And this would be everything that anyone talked about being done. They went the opposite way.
Yeah. And my other point was Kyle Schwarber. Ready? Kyle Schwarber is not a leadoff hitter. Okay. We said this last season at the same time. Not a leadoff hitter.
No,
I don't care about his on-base percentage. He'll have those same numbers out of the 4 hole that he would out of the leadoff hole. He'll still hit the same amount of home runs. The only difference is about a third of the time there's going to be somebody on base for those home runs.
You would think, and again, it goes back to the manager, and I understand the idea of, okay, when we start the game, the first hitter up is already in scoring position. But
they're gonna pitch him differently though.
If he doesn't hit it out, who cares?
Right. If he does hit it out, who cares? You mean?
Even if he does at times, it's still one run, right? And it's okay. As he said in the past, it's nice to get the first point. Well, his first at bat in the Mets series, what happened? He hit it out.
That was it.
And that was it. Well, he had 2 hits in that first game, but
yeah, that happens a lot. A guy hits a leadoff home run, and that's all. That actually went through the series.
Yeah,
it carried over. But yeah, he did mention that Trey Turner's going to be back at shortstop. That was no surprise. Yeah. He said that they're looking at Andrew Painter's actually pitching now. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I don't know if he threw anything other than, was it a few nights ago in the Arizona League?
Yeah.
I know he gave up a home run, a couple of hits, but
that's what Dave Dombrowski said. He said he gave up 2 runs, and he said that's surprising because he usually doesn't give up any runs.
Well,
he actually said that.
He hit 100 on the gun, they said.
Wow.
Okay. Well, let's see. That's nice, but if you're giving up, I don't know. You can't tell from what was.
What is it? Something about Tommy John? You throw harder afterwards?
There's been guys who have, and then there's been guys who haven't been able to do so. Not a doctor, and I don't play one on the radio or on IE Sports Radio.
It's crazy though. It seems like it happened with DeGrom too the first time, right? He came back throwing 101, 102.
Yeah.
It's almost like it for a short period of time, it's like you're brand new again.
Well, so if you look ahead, we already know what the lineup's going to be. People, they're not going to get Juan Soto. There's no way. I mean, he's going to get 500 million.
600.
Yeah, possibly. So that's the Mets, the Dodgers, the Cubs. Maybe the Cubs, maybe, and the Yankees. Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, the other thing, and I think some people have left him off the hook, is John Middleton. He wanted his trophy back.
Yeah,
he's not getting it back. He's not getting it back with these guys.
There was another team. I didn't hear this, but I'm saying it. Texas. Watch out for Texas with Soto. They have a lot of money. They like to spend it.
It would not shock me. You're right. You're right. So you look at the starting rotation. You're going to have Wheeler. You're going to have Nola. I don't know. They got to re-sign Ranger, but they will.
They do.
Yeah. They got to re-sign him.
Well, Sanchez is back too. They signed him.
Yeah, they signed Sanchez, and then you have a possibility whoever the fifth starter could be. And if you look at it being Andrew Painter, doesn't look bad.
It's going to be Painter, but it's not going to be for the whole season.
Yeah, that's probably what's.
But who knows? Who knows if we don't put on our TV next week or our computer and hear shoulder stiffness or arm tightness.
Oof.
I mean, it's just our city.
Well, now that you said that,
Paul George,
we had sat here on our show, even before we were here on StreamYard, and when the rumors started about halfway through last year that Paul George, and it was like, please no, and then I think we screamed it. I think you screamed one night so loud you lost your voice, and now he's injured. Bone bruise is what they said.
In his first game. Bone bruise. I thought it was a hyperextension.
Well, the last thing I read from Keith Pompey said it was a bone bruise. Now, if I recall correctly,
how do you bruise a bone not hitting anything?
I'd have to look that up. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name on his name now. But the guy who missed the season, most of the season last year for the Sixers with a bone bruise. They brought him over from
the one that couldn't make a shot against the Celtics.
No, not Melton. They had him. Robert Covington. I'm sorry, Covington.
Oh
yeah. That was considered a bone bruise.
I thought it was his shoulder.
I think if it was whatever it was, I think they considered it at one point to be a bone bruise. Yeah, like you said, that I guess that's better than an ACL tear or something like that. But it just starts, I think, the ball rolling on this injury thing. And then they give Embiid the extension, and instead of coming out and saying how he's all in, they got the right players, they got the right coach now, they're going to go for a championship. He's talking about playing less games.
Yeah, I'll never play back-to-back the rest of my career, he said. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Joel. You're going to return the money for those back-to-backs?
Yeah, and also that's – see, I would think – and I thought the NBA tried to get involved there a little bit because there's people looking at – I guess you got to look at that from back-to-backs now, but there's people looking at – like if you're in Utah or something like that and Embiid's coming to town, I mean, that's an attraction. But if you played the night before in Denver, yeah,
well, I guess he did you a favor because he's telling you ahead of time now.
Yeah, it's true.
Unless they pull a switcheroo and play him on the back end.
Yeah, depending on
who they play, right.
Yeah, depending on who they play. But it looks like for that first game coming up, they could be without Embiid and Paul George. It's most likely Embiid will be there. I think. I don't think he's injured. But they're going to be without Paul George.
Well, the first thing I did when I saw Paul George got hurt, I went right to the box score to see if he scored at least a point in the Sixers uniform. He did have 8 points.
I think he played in a game earlier too. I'm not sure if
I didn't think he did. I thought that was his first game.
No, I think he may have gotten in a little bit for the game before. And the two positives that I've written down for the 76ers, number one, yeah, if Embiid isn't playing back-to-backs. They got Andre Drummond. Now, it's an older Andre Drummond, but that's better than that's better than the backups that they've had.
He looked pretty spry the other night. He did a pick and roll with Maxey, and he did an alley-oop dunk. I mean, I was shocked.
It's better than having B-ball Paul in there.
Where's he at? Detroit? Yeah, right.
I don't know.
I think he went to Detroit. Steph.
Well, that was my other positive. That was my other positive for the Sixers. No more Tobias.
That's right.
Steph, if you're there, we want to know where Paul Reed is going to be playing this year.
I think it's Detroit.
Sixers center Paul Reed. It probably is Detroit.
I remember us saying that Detroit is collecting Sixers the way the Orioles collect Phillies.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. You'll probably see one or two of them on the All-Star team.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris will make the All-Star team for the first time.
A resurgent Tobias Harris.
Well, see, and the other thing too, there's not really much pressure, I guess, in Detroit. I don't think anyone's expecting Detroit to be a playoff team.
No, there's no pressure. He can just go out there and just be himself. B-ball Paul is now a Piston.
Thank you very much, Steph.
He'll average double. That'll be my prediction. He'll score like 12 and 10.
Yeah, probably, and it'll look like the Sixers were stupid to get rid of him. Yeah, and they also drafted a center too, the guy from UCLA. I mean,
what's his name?
we haven't come up with the pronunciation of the name of the guy who the Sixers drafted this year from UCLA, the center. But the staff will have it come up here in a few minutes.
Adam Bona.
There you go.
Adim or Adam.
So the only thing we really didn't talk about was the Flyers, and they're in Edmonton tonight. Kind of strange that they have 4 games way out there to start the season. I mean, there'll be 4 games into the season before the
read the bottom.
Going to put me out. Well, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think so. Well, they play Edmonton tonight, who's 0-3, and
that won't be for long. They'll be 1-3 after tonight.
Edmonton is -210.
Yeah, they'll be 1-3.
Yeah, I mean they have a problem with backup goalie. The only thing that's looked positive so far.
That's what I meant to ask you. Who remember the last year when the goalie that came like walking up the highway out of nowhere for the Flyers? Where's he at?
I believe he's in Lehigh.
I thought he was their same. Oh, by the way, Flyers Minute, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, ooh, and that's not for Halloween either.
Yeah, well,
it just coincides with it being orange.
Wait a minute, he's in Lehigh, and they have like 6 goalies on the roster. So how is he not good enough to be on the roster?
Well, that was what a lot of people were saying today. He'll be there sooner than later.
Why isn't he there?
I don't know, because the backup gave up 6 goals, and it wasn't a good showing. But then again, that was a scheduled loss. How do they start off with a back-to-back like that?
That's crazy. I know.
And
every sport you get a day, even baseball, you get a day off after your first game.
Unbelievable. And Calgary is really good. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Calgary deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. How's Mitchkov looked?
You can't really tell through 2 games. I mean, he looks like he's going to be a player, though. He's fast. It looks like he's got some moves. We'll see how he adjusts to the league and how the league adjusts to him. And Urson looked good in the first game, so that was about it.
Well, we're getting off late. I might check out the first period, see how he looks at it.
Yeah, it'll be starting up right when we get finished. We'll take a break, have some commercials here. We'll come back. We'll talk some NASCAR, little pop culture. I got a fun top 10 tonight. I want to see how if Bobby likes the topic and see how he does.
You got it.
Back before you know it.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Well, what is up, Carolina Nation? This is John Felipe of the Carolina Cast, of course, the podcast of, by, and for the Carolinas, right here on IE Sports, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'm reminding you to tune in Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern for the latest in Carolina sports, whether it's the Panthers that keep on pounding, the fly natures of the Hornets, the storming Hurricanes, the battle of the Blues with Duke and UNC, the fight of the Clemson Tigers, or the amazing atmosphere of any Carolina college. I'm talking App State, I'm talking ECU, I've got you covered. Once again, tune in for the Carolina Cast with me, John Felipe, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Back here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. Bobby rocking the Philadelphia Eagles. Right there. Kyle Larson, best driver on the planet?
Absolutely. The second he won, I said, there he is, the best driver on the planet. He could get in a mail truck and win a race. I mean, it's just, there's nobody better. He can win on any track, any week. I mean,
Bobby, he could beat you in a mail truck?
I don't know. I'm pretty seasoned.
So I thought you know all the ins and outs of what's going on there.
Yeah, give him a week or so, he'd have no problem.
No, you're right. It looked like Logano was eliminated, but no.
17 pounds fell off Alex Bowman's car. Where'd it go? I've yet to find it. That's not right. That's not right to penalize him. Penalize the team, but don't penalize the driver.
I think those 17 pounds added on to me. It seems to happen. Yeah, because even when you saw the clip that went around social media of Denny Hamlin talking about it, he couldn't explain it.
Right, he couldn't.
I don't know.
Well, I don't either. It's not right. If it was the other way around, if Alex Bowman was out, I don't think they would put him in the playoffs and taking out Logano. I think they wanted him in.
Yeah, you might be right about that. And I was looking, they're going to be in Vegas this weekend. It's 2:30 start again.
Oh, wow. Right in the middle of the games.
Well, by that point, it might be 2-0. This game coming up between the Eagles and Giants could end up 5-3.
Yeah, it could.
It's very possible. But yeah, I was surprised when I saw that and they were going over everything about what took place with Bowman's car. But if you had to pick somebody other than Larson to win it all, who would your pick be?
Christopher Bell. I feel like he's had the strongest car throughout the season.
Yeah, it's not that wouldn't be surprising. It's amazing how the last couple of weeks Denny Hamlin has really, really fallen off.
He hasn't had it this year.
No, and frustrating as a Hamlin fan, but no, that's been falling off. And I'm trying to think and the staff can put this up when the final race of the season is, but it's got to be coming up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's usually right around this time. I mean, we're at the final 8, so once
Yeah,
they go, it'll be what, 2 or 3 more. It'll get it down to 4, and that's it.
Yeah, because right at the beginning of November is usually when it ends. I believe it's the race in Phoenix, and the staff will have it across here.
Instead of having one race, don't you think they should have 2? No, have like a cumulative score of those final 2.
Well, they should have one race with everybody, and then one race with the final 4, just them.
Just them on the track. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
I would watch that.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because you look at a
Put them
situation.
at Daytona and don't let them draft together. That would be funny.
Because you look at a situation where something can happen with another car. I mean, you could have
exactly my point. Ricky Stenhouse takes out a driver, and that's your whole season. Come on.
Yeah, I know, and that because look here, it's like now you see it. It's the Yankees against the Guardians. I mean, you don't have the Rays coming in to disrupt the series. I mean, they're going head to head. Oh,
You'll never hear me say that. You'll never hear me say that team name on the show.
Which team?
What you just said, the Cleveland baseball team.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I will never call them that ever in my life.
Well, you could call them the Gar Indians. Close enough.
NASCAR Championship is on November 10th.
There you have it.
Where's it at?
I think it's Phoenix.
It's in Phoenix now, because it used to be in Homestead.
Oh, maybe I could be wrong.
It hasn't been the last couple, but it used to be in Homestead every year. I think you're right with Phoenix.
With it being the 2 New York teams, the team formerly known as the Indians,
Phoenix,
and the Dodgers, who wins the World Series?
You think the Mets?
I do.
At this point, you're probably right. I mean, I don't think the Dodgers have what it takes to win the series. I think we're looking at a Subway Series. I don't know. Again,
baseball. I think baseball would like to showcase Ohtani in the World Series, but that pitching.
They should get some pitchers for the Dodgers.
Well, you know who could help their pitching staff? Him.
That's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting a game coming up.
I wonder if he's been throwing behind the scenes.
When that would be an interesting thing. If
they get to a game 7 and they have nobody and he comes in from first base.
Because that's what I was thinking when I was thinking about the show, and I was going to ask you that question. I'm like, boy, just that pitching seems. Wait a minute.
Don't you think if he was throwing, we know about it, somebody would see it?
Yeah, yeah, they probably would. So you watched the movie Snow Falls?
I did, the whole thing right after the show last week.
Thumbs up or thumbs down? I
don't know. I mean, I thought it was going to be like the murderer was the guy that dropped them off, and he was, he came back and he was really. I thought there'd be some kind of story, but I mean, how could they have froze if they had a stove that was working? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think that was the point of the whole thing. Everything that was going on was so disjointed and didn't make sense, even up to the final scene where you thought what was going on.
Yeah, they both lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the snowman, like you said, you thought maybe that snowman was coming in to attack him and he only had a bit role in it or whatever. But
so what was the theme of I guess the theme of the movie was what? That hypothermia sets in, and it makes you hallucinate.
Yeah, it makes the extreme cold can make you delusional.
But it shouldn't have been extreme cold. They had blankets. They had everything they needed in the house.
And they could have just left. No one tried to leave, really.
Right. They didn't even try to drive. I mean, they don't have a 4-wheel drive car. Come on.
No, and it was, well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Just left. The one guy tries to run in the snow.
Well, I think you had to put into it that there was things going on, like you said, that was so disjointed and didn't make sense. But I think that was what they were going for. Like,
and the first 25 minutes, nothing happened.
No, it was nice and peaceful.
They just sat around and talked.
And it was New Year's, and they had when they made the resolutions, they knew they were out of power. They were trying.
I mean, for me, it was another one of those movies where it was a good idea, and they set it up for a great ending that just never happened. That they could have done stuff differently.
Yeah, I mean, you'll remember the ending, but you won't.
I mean, really, the guy hits his head on the table. Come on.
You won't remember it fondly. Have you seen the movie Smile?
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
There's a second one. It's either out or coming out. That is one that I watched that I think you would like. Now, one I know, I could be wrong, but I think I know you well enough. You will like this one. Maybe you've already seen it. It's called Fresh. Fresh.
What is it? I thought you were talking about Smile.
No, Fresh.
Fresh.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you'll like Smile too, but I think you'll absolutely like Fresh better.
Fresh. What's it about?
It is. Oh boy, I'm trying to put it out here without spoiling things.
Is it a horror movie? A comedy?
Yes, it is a horror movie about a guy who kidnaps women to sell their flesh for food.
What do you mean you know me?
Well, you were the one who turned me on to what was that one? What was it? Menu?
The Menu? What? Or with the different stacks?
Yeah.
Oh, no. The Menu was the one where they went to the island.
Well, they went to the island, right.
There was another, and the cook made them, do things, and then he made them in the chocolate. He made them in the s'mores at the end. But what was the movie where they were on the Platform? You ever see The Platform?
I have not.
The Platform was the movie where it starts off with a buffet style kitchen and all this great food, and then you eat, and then you pass it. They're all, I think it's in prison, and then you pass below, but you have to be considerate of the people below you. And when it gets to the bottom, there's nothing left of the food. You have to see it to know what I mean, but it's a pretty cool concept.
Because
the Platform.
I will check it out. And the one, I think you even watched maybe the earlier one where the soccer team was
alive.
Yeah.
I have to see if it's called Platform. Anybody in the chat's list, we have 16 people joining us. Is the movie called Platform? Yeah, it is. I'm looking at it now. The Platform. It's on Netflix.
Cool. I will check it out.
And you're telling me Flesh or Fresh? FL?
No, FRESH. Fresh.
Oh, because you said Flesh, so I thought maybe it was called Flesh.
There's a lot of that in it.
So it's Fresh Flesh.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to watch that.
No, it is not overly. That is not overly shown, but
okay. Next, do you know the movie Centipede? While we're in that same genre,
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, it's where they sew people together.
Oh wow. Well, maybe I'm just showing off my personality more and what I'm into. All right, top 10 for tonight for the last 7 minutes.
Okay.
See if you like this topic. It is the top 10 best players to play in Philadelphia who never won a championship. Not just in Philadelphia, but
that's a good one.
But anywhere.
I hear action going on in the game here.
Yeah, it looks like it's the Yankees going up 4-2.
Oh, it's great. I hear the announcer going crazy, but I don't hear the crowd cheering. Oh, yeah, it is. Rizzo double. Okay. All right. First one that came to mind. I always have one that's not top of the mind for everybody, but I think of it. Charles Barkley.
Yeah, he's number one.
There you go.
Yeah, number one.
Number two, be Allen Iverson.
I have him third.
Okay.
I have him third.
Not Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt won one. It's pretty much just name everybody because most of them didn't win.
Yeah. Well, if they had a long career in Philly, they didn't.
Right. Do you have Donovan McNabb on the list?
Yes, I do. Number 6.
Okay.
He actually played for Washington.
And Minnesota.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
He played for somebody else too.
I didn't remember Minnesota, so.
I think he was on a fourth team.
All teams Donovan McNabb played on.
Yeah. I know you have Eric Lindros on the list.
Number 5 is Eric Lindros. Yes.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Brian Westbrook?
I thought of him, and I picked one. I picked 2 people over him. I picked a few over him, but he's a good name to mention.
Okay. See, the Phillies are hard because most of their great players won it.
Yeah, and let's see. I have 1, 2.
Kurt Schilling?
I have 3 Phillies. He won it with Arizona and
Well, I
Boston.
know, but he didn't win it with the Phillies. I mean, I thought, okay. I
No,
said never won it at all. Is what
Never
you're
won
saying.
it at all. They played
Oh,
here,
okay.
but never won it at all.
Okay. Geez, who's number 2? Think here. Not a Flyer. I don't think you have no more Flyers, right?
No more Flyers.
Yeah, so
I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 Phillies. 3 Phillies on the list. I have
Wow.
1, 2
Scott
more.
Rowland. Scott Rowland did win one.
He did win one, and I have 2, 3 Eagles on the list. The one guy who I have number 7, we argued that he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Bobby Abreu.
Yeah, Bobby Abreu.
He didn't win it with the Yankees. We talked about this before too.
No,
No.
I don't think.
Okay.
Now he wasn't on that 09 team for the
He
Yankees.
wasn't on the Angels when they won it. No, right?
I don't think the Angels ever won it.
Yes, they did. They won. Remember the Rally Monkey?
Oh yeah, they beat the Giants. Well,
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that. We'll have to have the staff look up if Bobby Abreu.
I don't think Abreu was on that team.
I don't think he won. He won a World Series.
That was like Troy Gloss and Tim Salmon. I think that was. Yeah. Phillies. Who you got? Pitchers. Is it like a guy that like only played here for a little bit of time, or a sneaky guy, or a long career?
No, not a little bit of time. A handful of seasons for both these guys.
Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay's number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, never even got to a World Series. It's amazing.
Right. Cliff Lee.
And Cliff Lee, yeah, absolutely, Cliff Lee. And let's see, I have 3 Eagles left.
Okay. Bobby Abreu did not win a championship. Thanks, Seth. Wow. Eagles. Reggie White won one, right, with the Packers.
With the Packers.
Brian Dawkins.
Another guy I omitted him for these 3.
Did he win it with the Broncos?
Yeah, I think maybe he did win it with the Broncos. You might be right.
Wow. What am I missing here? Carson Wentz? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Are you offense, defense, Eagles?
they're all offense.
Oh, offense. Quite quick.
I know it was a long day at work. No, I have another quarterback.
Ron Jaworski? Randall Cunningham?
Randall.
Yeah.
He's 10 on my list.
Yeah.
Westbrook could have gone there. Yeah, I could have put Westbrook in there.
And they were going back. How far are we going back? Forever?
These other 2 are not going back as far as Cunningham. Two wide receivers.
Oh, it's T.O.
Yeah. And 1 more wide receiver. Connection to Minnesota.
Chris Carter.
Yeah. There's the list. Charles Barkley, Roy Halladay, Allen Iverson, Cliff Lee, Eric Lindros, Donovan McNabb, Bobby Abreu, Terrell Owens, Chris Carter, Randall Cunningham. Brian Westbrook could have easily been put on the list. Ricky Batalico could have gone on.
John Kruk.
Yeah, John Kruk. True. Next week, though, just a heads up, not to catch Bobby off guard. We talked about this. We will do horror movies next week.
Okay.
Yeah. We made it to 9:59. Thank you, everyone who's joined us, and thank you to everyone who listens to us wherever it is. It's Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. And Chris Amos 717, Bobby Cash 215. Hit us up.
Well, it's on the screen. It was on the screen.
I know it's on the screen too. But the 717 isn't behind me. There you go. There you go. Perfect. The staff is just phenomenal.
Shoot us a follow. Say hi.
Flyers game starting soon. Hey, maybe they'll get a win up there in Edmonton. Good night,
Yes, sir.
everyone.
Good night.